what you want, when you want it, where you want it. This is The Mesh.
Once again, the time has come to cast aside your barbecue loyalties and step into the ring of competition and determine the best barbecue in the land. Well, at least in the Carolinas, among pitmasters gathering at Gardner-Webb University, October 18th and 19th. That's when Bo's Battlecue's happening in conjunction with Gardner-Webb's homecoming festivities. So today we're talking with Gardner-Webb's Director of Alumni Relations, Leah Clevenger, as well as Karen Cowell, the events coordinator for Southern Barbecue Network, that organization that's sanctioning this big barbecue competition. Leah, Karen, welcome to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yes, so glad to be here.
Yes, we're looking forward to finding out more. We can't wait to get the details on this year's Big Battlecue. But first, a quick reminder to our audience, please visit the Low and Slow Barbecue Show at our website, lowslowbbqshow.com. That's where you can hear all our podcast episodes, find blogs, get recipes for your own backyard barbecue adventures. And while you're there, be sure to sign up for our newsletter, The Lowdown. It hits email inboxes on Tuesdays, and it's full of Carolina barbecue news and events, like the big event coming up at Gardner-Webb University, October 18th and 19th. Again, Bo's Battlecue. And Leah, I'm going to throw it right to you. What is Bo's Battlecue?
Well, it is our barbecue competition at Gardner-Webb University, and it is in its second year. Part of my role as Director of Alumni Relations is to create traditions, and Bo's Battlecue is one of those that we are working to really bring into our just lineup of traditions that happen throughout the year.
Fantastic, and I know it'll be a big day for the Bulldogs there around homecoming. What can spectators expect? To describe the experience a little bit around the Battlecue.
Absolutely. So our spectators are going to be in the heart of the action. Bo's Battlecue will take place on one of our very large practice soccer fields. It's directly across from Spangler Stadium. So football will be happening before too long, right next door. And as they're walking up, the smell of those cookers will just welcome them to our beautiful campus. They are going to enjoy chatting with these barbecue teams. They have lots of personality, I've discovered, and they love to talk about their process and why they like to barbecue and just shoot the breeze with whoever stops by. Our spectators can plan on enjoying People's Choice sampling and help us determine who the People's Choice team is, and we hope that plenty will participate in that. Where they're going to be in prime location for the homecoming parade. Lots of floats will be passing by, our cheerleaders, various athletic teams, and it'll all come to an end right there at Bo's Battlecue. Following the competition, if they'll stick around, they'll enjoy the U.S. Army's Golden Knights, who will parachute in. So truly, they're going to be in the heart of the action, and we're just hoping for a lot of spectators that day.
Oh, that sounds like a great event for the spectators. But talk about the competitors. What can they expect, and what's involved in the competition, and how many folks you guys have coming for this year's Battlecue?
Absolutely. Well, Gardner-Webb plans to show our competition teams a lot of hospitality, so a big welcome for them on Friday. We're hoping to see most of our teams roll in by 3 o'clock, and it's basically first come, first serve as they pick out their sites where they'll set up camp and get to cooking for us. But like I said, lots of hospitality. We're hoping for beautiful weather. They've got a great grassy location to enjoy. And people are probably going to stop by Friday evening just to chat and say hello, get all those good smells, and just sort of encourage them in their process. And then beginning at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning, they'll do the turn-in time starts for pork butts, and an hour later for the ribs, and People's Choice will start at 11. And then we'll be announcing cash prizes at the homecoming game and celebrating those winners.
Right. And of course, that's all going on at Gardner-Webb University in Boiling Springs, North Carolina. For those of you who don't know, I'm sure a lot of people do, but all that's at Gardner-Webb. And tell me, who is Bo, Leah? I hear about his Battlecue, but who's Bo?
Yes, what a great question. He is our beloved live mascot. Bo is a English bulldog. He's rather hefty. You will see Bo on campus most days, and he loves to mix it up with the students. He'll do just about anything for a treat, but he's super friendly, and he's been with us for a couple years now. And he loves to make it out to sporting events, but particularly anything associated with food. So Bo's Battle Cue is right up his alley.
Yeah, well, does Bo like barbecue?
Bo does like barbecue.
Well, who doesn't
I
like
don't know that
barbecue?
there's anything he doesn't like, but he does like barbecue.
That's cool. Everybody keep their eyes peeled for Bo walking around the big event and certainly around homecoming festivities. I'm sure you'll see him at the game as well in the Gardner-Webb community. And then speaking of that community of Bulldogs, Leah, how has that community responded to you guys' barbecue event? You had the first one last year, now the second one. What's the response been like?
Well, that's a great question. I tell you what, last year was such an exciting time for us. We were so thrilled to kick off that new tradition. Every team pretty much had an alum on the team, and that was so much fun to see Gardner-Webb graduates really invested in helping us start a brand new tradition. And, last year it was just for bragging rights and trophies, and they committed over 24 hours, to participate in the competition. But when it was all said and done, they were like, please do this again. This was so much fun. And fortunately, they helped me learn a lot in the process, and they gave me lots of good feedback that we've taken to heart. And they're just excited to see the second year come around. Lots of folks started checking in a few months ago when we sent out our save the date, and they wanted to know if People's Choice would be happening at the competition. And I said, of course, that's a big highlight. I get it for sure. We'll absolutely have it. So the community is looking forward to it. It's a positive thing for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a lot of great fun. Now, let's talk about the Southern Barbecue Network. How did you get involved with these guys and bring them on board for the big battle queue?
Yes, I am so thankful to be working with the Southern Barbecue Network. And the way this all came about, one of my board members, alumni advisory board members, he's the director of Parks and Rec in Bessemer City, North Carolina, Jody Franklin.
Yeah, we had Jody on a couple of weeks ago, right?
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
He is so fantastic, and he's a huge Running Bulldog fan. He played football here, and he's just stayed in touch ever since his graduation. But he was like, Leah, listen, I had Southern Barbecue Network help us with the brewing queue. And he said, you guys really should reach out to them. They just made the whole process so much easier, because last year we just did it on our own. We had a volunteer, Charles Hammer, big barbecue fan, who helped me plan the whole thing. And that's a big undertaking.
Sure.
And so I took Jody's words to heart, and we checked in with Mike Wright, and then partnered up with Karen. She's been fantastic and just really helped me get this all figured out. But we're thrilled to be working with SBN. They bring the expertise that we were missing. They are truly experts. I attended a training the other week and was so impressed with how they prepare their judges, and it gave me really great insight into what they do on the barbecue competition side of things, judging, tabulating scores, what they're looking for. And I was just really impressed and encouraged, and knew that our competition was just going to be elevated because they were a part of it. So we get their expertise. I think it gives us more credibility, honestly, because we're giving out cash prizes. And, if I were a competitor, I would want to know those judges are well prepared, and that the tabulation of scores are absolutely positively correct. And so I love that. That just lends to the credibility for sure. And it's a neat community to be a part of. Those judges and volunteers were so much fun in that training. I think they're just going to improve our community and fun that we have on the 18th and 19th of this month.
Yeah, and that's a great segue to go to our second guest, Karen Cowell, and she's with the Southern Barbecue Network. And so, Karen, tell me a little bit about the role that an event like Bo's Battle Queue plays into the overall mission of the Southern Barbecue Network.
Southern Barbecue Network basically provides trained, qualified judges to judge fairly in competitions that are related to a charity. So the charity aspect is is not surmountable for us. We must have a charity affiliation. And this is, I think, the second time we have worked with a university to provide charity work for student scholarships. So our judges are there to support the community, to support the event, and to make everybody successful.
Okay, so Leah, tell me, and I'll go back to you quickly. What's the charity that this event's going to be supporting there with Gardner-Webb?
Yes, so all proceeds from this event will go to support student scholarships. At Gardner-Webb, we have over 90% of our students receiving financial aid, and so this will be returned back to our scholarship fund.
Fantastic. So it's supporting a great cause. And again, just like Karen said, it's a charity event. That's part of the Southern Barbecue Network mission. And Karen, how does Bo's Battle Q, how is it similar or different to other SBN sanctioned events?
Well, it's similar in that we use the same standards, whether the cook teams are professionals or whether they are amateurs. So the amateurs sometimes become professionals after they see how wonderful their scores are at times. And the professionals are sometimes surprised when the amateurs are the winners of the contest. So I think that's a great aspect to judging at an event like this, where there are both professionals and possibly professionals and amateurs. So that's basically the differences are minor. We're going to do the same procedures and use judges who are trained and have a wonderful event. So the differences, I know you know the differences. So really, there aren't a whole lot of differences. We use the same standards, as I said. I guess the difference in this competition is that there are probably more amateurs than will be professionals, but same standards are applied to all.
Okay, how many folks have you got registered to participate this year?
Well, right now we have 6 teams, and we'd like to add 2 more. And I know we're 9 days away, but we're still recruiting, and we're hopeful. We've had one of our barbecue teams that won last year. They have been working really hard serving Western North Carolina folks over the last week or so. Mm-hmm. And I'm really hoping that they'll come home and rest and say, we still have it in us, and we're going to come and compete.
Yeah, and the barbecue community has provided such a tremendous effort in Western North Carolina as we're recovering from that. It's exciting to hear some of those teams that maybe they can take a little bit of time off to do something for themselves. It's important in a time like that. Treat yourselves good and come participate in a competition. Obviously, it's a lot of work. And as we air, we'll have some plenty of time to get on there and get involved and registered for that event. If somebody still wants to get in and compete, Leah or Karen, either one, how can they get involved?
Well, if they'll go to gardner-webb.edu and search Bo's Battle Q, it'll take them right to our registration form. It's all online.
That's great. Now, Karen, let me come back to you and talk more about the Southern Barbecue Network. How did you get involved with the organization?
Well, I got to say I had very good mentors, but the very first mentor I had was my husband. We moved to Sumter, South Carolina. I was still working and he was retired. And in the Sumter Item local paper, I saw this little ad that said barbecue training at the University of South Carolina. So I sent him. And for about a year, he judged and really enjoyed it. I tagged along and I did all the things that judges wouldn't do. So, for example, we don't usually use trained people to be what we call runners. Those are the people who take items, the product, from the receiving table back to the area that's confidential. So I did that. And finally, after a year, one of my mentors, Mike Wright, our director of operations, said, okay, you've had enough fun. It's time to go to a judging class. And I did. And from there on in, I've had wonderful mentors throughout Southern Barbecue Network. I could name a list of them, but one of the wonderful things about the organization is that people are very supportive of one another. People are very welcoming. They help you learn the process. They help you with training. And so eventually, as I attended contests as a judge, someone would say to me, gee, you really should learn this aspect of it and this aspect of it. And finally, I knew all the aspects of it. And they said, okay, now you should be an event representative. And it's been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed it. But I credit my husband with getting me involved in the organization.
Sure. Well, tell me what you do. What does an event representative do? What's your role?
Well, I work as the liaison between the organization and the event organizer. So we talk ahead of time about how the event's going to be structured, when the turn-in times are, how many judges might be needed, all the sort of back of the scene type of things. And then on the day before the event organizer organizes the cook teams together. Sometimes that's a little tricky, but gets them together and provides an orientation to what their role is going to be the next day and what steps they need to take. On the day of the competition, I'll be there at 7 a.m. at the site and bright and early, and I will be meeting with the cook teams to make sure everybody has everything they need from us and taking care of any issues or problems that might arise on the part of the cook teams. And then when the judges start to come in, then I will be orienting them so that everybody is on the same page, why we're here. We take up a collection for whatever charity the organization is supporting, and that's from the judges themselves. There's no obligation on the judges to do that, but generally at every event we do that and have great participation for that. At the end, I will be sort of orienting President Downs in his role when he meets the finalists and the winners. And then we strike the tents, and that's it. Until next year.
Game done until the next event. Well, how many events are you coordinating each year in our contest calendar?
I myself am coordinating 4 this year.
Okay.
All in North Carolina. I had to think about a second because I wasn't sure the Piedmont region was actually, but it is in North Carolina. So I have coordinated one in Harrisburg. That one benefited the Jeff Gordon's Children's Hospital. That was really a sweet one. And then I went to the event and coordinated the event in, I can't remember the name of the place. Leah, help me.
Bessemer City.
Bessemer City, right. Yeah.
Bessemer City. And that was a lovely event. And we had a lot of fun there, good teams. And then, let's see, Bo's Battle Q is my 3rd event of this year. And then my last event will be in Pinehurst for the Veteran Golfers Association. And that supports the veterans who want to play golf and need that as part of maybe their rehabilitation program. So those are the ones I've coordinated. I've probably been to about, and by the end of the year, I have been to about 8 contests in various roles because I'm not always the event coordinator. It is a good bit of work. It's rewarding work. But also, I like to be a table captain, and sometimes I like to be like my husband likes. I like to just be a judge and eat great barbecue.
Yeah. Well, so as you look ahead to the future of events, what does the future hold? Is there anything new coming down the pipeline, or what does that look like? So it's a little early to tell what's going to happen next year. We do have some events all the way through mid-November. And then next year we'll have probably a lot of returning contests that we worked with in the past. It's always fun to work with people you've worked with in the past because they know our process, we know their process, and it makes the events run a lot smoother. So we're looking forward to probably 20 different events next year, maybe a few more, all in North Carolina and South Carolina.
This episode of the Low and Slow Barbecue Show is sponsored by the Southern Barbecue Network. Since 2010, the Southern Barbecue Network has sanctioned barbecue tournaments to further their goal of preserving a Southern tradition by providing well-trained judges to contests that are raising money for charitable causes in the Carolinas. In addition to supporting charitable barbecue competitions, the Southern Barbecue Network also donates annually to numerous local community organizations, hospitals, and nonprofits. To find out more about the Southern Barbecue Network competition program and barbecue judge training classes, please visit sbbqn.com for more information. Again, that is sbbqn.com.
So, Leah, tell me, you're the director of alumni relations there at Gardner-Webb. And it's a little bit a different role than what Karen does. What do you enjoy about, your job and your role and being involved in that way at Gardner-Webb?
Absolutely. Well, I am a two-time Gardner-Webb alum. So being able to plan events that bring alumni back to campus or to meet them out in the region is very rewarding to me, just to hear their stories and to see what they've done with their education and how they're impacting the world for God and humanity. That's our motto. But specifically, homecoming, I love seeing everybody return. And again, hearing those stories, seeing them reminisce as they walk across the campus and they see somebody they haven't seen in a long time. And Bo's Battle Queue really gives our alums and friends of the university a place to gather and catch up. They're going to enjoy seeing one another. They're going to enjoy chatting with the barbecue teams. And then we provide a big barbecue lunch for alumni and friends who show up. They'll participate in People's Choice, but they'll also enjoy lunch with us out there on that big field before the game. And I just like creating opportunities for alumni and friends to come together. And I'm thankful that Bo's Battle Queue makes that possible.
Yeah. So now let me ask you, Karen, obviously a lot of work's involved with Southern Barbecue Network. You said it yourself. You get to eat a little bit along the way, but there is work. So tell me, what is it that you enjoy most about being involved in these competitions and the Southern Barbecue Network overall?
Well, in the Southern Barbecue Network, everyone is a volunteer, from the CEO down to all the judges. So no one gets paid a salary. Everyone pays their own hotel bills, their own transportation. So it's truly a volunteer effort to help support the communities in North and South Carolina for their charities. That's the most enjoyable part to me. My husband and I both have 3 different certifications, and we choose to use Southern Barbecue Network's events the most because we love the volunteer and the charity aspects of SBN. So I think that's overall what's the most important to me as far as the contests in SBN. It's a wonderful group of people, and I urge people who'd like to be a judge to take one of our training classes because everybody's welcome. And we have people from all walks of life. Every time I sit down to next to someone I don't know, I learn something. I've met bus drivers, chefs, you name it. People are very welcome, and we want people to feel welcome. We want people in our organization who enjoy barbecue, and that's what binds us all together.
Yeah, that's great. So again, just to kind of recap, it's coming up, Bo's Battle Queue, October 18th and 19th, the real homecoming festivities on the 19th, Leah, and they're going to be cooking pork. They're going to be cooking ribs. There's competitions for those 2. And then there's a People's Choice that everybody can come through and sample. They cast their vote. And let me ask you, it's homecoming for alumni, but this chigger lives a couple hours north in Hickory. Can I come rolling into Boiling Springs and join the festivities, even though I have no other tie to Gardner-Webb?
Yes. Please come on down. I would love that. Absolutely. You are welcome. Alumni and friends, always.
Excellent. And if you like barbecue, you're a friend. So anybody out there listening, come on and join the festivities. And then it's going to be a big football game. Who are the Fighting Bulldogs playing? I'm sorry, the Running Bulldogs playing this Saturday.
Yeah. We are playing Lindenwood.
Okay. So obviously
first time playing them. We're a part of the Big South Conference, but in football, we are combined with the Ohio Valley Conference.
Okay.
And so this year that brings Lindenwood to us. So we will see.
Well, it's homecoming. So you know what you schedule on homecoming. We're looking forward to a Gardner-Webb win there. And then the winners will be announced at halftime, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So again, October 18th and 19th, the Bo's Battle Queue at Gardner-Webb homecoming festivities. Everybody's welcome to come and join the fun. Now, we're going to wrap it up, ladies, and I want to do this with our low and slow showdown. Just some easy questions for you. I'm going to let Leah answer first, and then Karen, if you'll answer. It's really just some easy one-word answers. So first of all, here we go right out of the gate. Leah, what is the name of the barbecue joint that you grew up on?
Oh, Carolina Country Barbecue. It was on Union Road in Gastonia, North Carolina, and I loved that place. But I also enjoyed Kyle Fletcher's barbecue too out there on 74 in Gastonia.
Excellent. Love to give these small guys a shout out. What about you, Karen?
Well, I grew up north of the Mason-Dixon line, so my dad was my favorite griller. That's what they call it
Yeah.
here. Here in North Carolina, when we're going to the Outer Banks, which we do several times a year, we always stop at Hardison's on Route 64. Nice family place, always very welcoming, and they have an excellent vinegar barbecue sauce, which I like personally.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's the down east style. So y'all are dipping into the next questions. We got your current barbecue go-tos there. What is your favorite protein to eat? Pork, beef, chicken, turkey, or something else, Leah?
I like pork, but I'd say chicken is second.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Karen?
Well, I'd say chicken is first and pork is second.
Wow. Nobody on the beef train?
It's very rare for us to judge a contest where the cookers cook beef. That's a thing. At least that's what the Texans tell me.
Right.
That's what they try to say, but brisket is making its way into North Carolina hard and fast. So what about your favorite side, Leah?
Oh, I definitely love slaw and and hush puppies. I don't know which one I like best.
Karen?
Those are my top two.
Okay. What about you, Karen?
Well, this is tough, but I would say slaw is my favorite as well. Secondly, I would say green beans.
I love a good green bean Southern style. If you thought that one was hard, Leah, your favorite barbecue dessert?
Banana pudding.
Karen?
Banana pudding.
Oh, that was easier than I thought. Everybody loves banana pudding. Who couldn't love banana pudding? All right. Leah, what is the best state in these United States for barbecue?
Oh, absolutely. North Carolina.
North Carolina. This may be harder for you, Karen.
It is. I'm going to remain neutral on that question.
No, you can't. No, you got to pick one.
Well, if I had to pick one, I'd say South Carolina #1 and North Carolina #2. Very close.
That's fair. We get by just saying Carolina on this show.
That's
Although depending on who wins the football or basketball game, I think determines who Carolina is, but we won't worry about that. More controversy. Leah, the best Carolina barbecue style, is it Eastern, Piedmont, or Lexington, or mustard in South Carolina?
Definitely Eastern for me.
Karen?
Eastern.
Eastern vinegar lovers. That's great. So your Eastern is the vinegar sauce. Is the meat better with or without the sauce?
I was at Clark's Barbecue not too long ago and did not require sauce or anything. So I usually taste before I sauce. How about that?
That's the perfect answer. Yep. Karen?
I do the same. Our favorite commercial barbecue is at Midwood Smokehouse, which is not too far from us here in Charlotte. And they offer a variety of sauces, but they never pre-sauce the meat. So I taste first, and then I see what I want to add.
Yeah, we're big fans of Midwood too. And I don't know if I call them commercial. Yeah, they've got several locations, but those guys there at Midwood are great. We've had them on the show in the past. So what about your favorite non-barbecue meal, Leah?
Oh, goodness. I'm a big Mexican fan. So tacos, Taco Tuesday or Taco Friday or whatever. I'm a taco gal for sure.
Excellent. Yeah. Karen?
Well, I've tasted barbecue around the world, and I would say that my favorite non-American style barbecue is lamb that I had in Argentina.
Yeah, that's great. That's a good mix there. Lamb is great if it's done properly. Okay, last question. Maybe it's the hardest, maybe not. Leah, is barbecue a verb or a noun?
I think it's both. No, really. Where I grew up, it's a noun. But I know if you grew up further north, it was a verb. It's a verb.
Okay, Karen, you grew up further north. What do you say?
Well, I never heard the word barbecue until I moved out of New Jersey. So when I moved south of the Mason-Dixon line, it was both a verb and a noun.
And that, my friends, is the lowdown from the team behind Bo's Battle Q, coming up October 18th and 19th as part of Gardner-Webb University's homecoming festivities. Leah, Karen, thank you so much for joining the Low and Slow Barbecue Show.
Well, thank you.
Oh, so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You've been listening to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show on the Mesh.tv network of podcasts. Be sure to visit us online at lowslowbbqshow.com. That's where you'll find the blog, and you can hear other podcast episodes. If you like what you hear on the Low and Slow Barbecue Show, please be sure to give us a 5-star rating in your favorite podcast network. That helps other people find our podcast. And remember, visit lowslowbbqshow.com. You can subscribe to our Lowdown newsletter. We'll send you the latest podcasts, blogs, recipes, barbecue events, and more, all directly to your inbox on Tuesday mornings. Special thanks to our guests, Leah Clevenger and Karen Cowell. Thanks as well to our producer, Andrew Moose, and the whole team at the Mesh.tv network of podcasts. Most especially, thank you for listening to the Low and Slow Barbecue Show. Remember, for the best barbecue and the best barbecue podcast, make it low and slow.
You've been listening to The Mesh, an online media network of shows and programs ranging from business to arts, sports to entertainment, music to community. All programs are available on the website as well as through iTunes and YouTube. Check us out online at themesh.tv. Discover other network shows and give us feedback on what you just heard.